Look, just when we're starting to wrap our heads around the MAFS drama, two brand new couples entered the experiment.
Of course they did.
Evelyn met Rupert at the altar last night, and gee whiz, it was just orkies.
Sake. You know it's gonna happen.
He's so sweating, he's so ready.
How are you? Evelyn.
Evelyn.
So, Rupert, you've got the rings. Look at
Yeah,
you
I do.
Yep.
Sake.
Oh, bro, I just...
Buddy.
Cringe.
I mean, it's a lot of pressure, isn't it? We're pleased to say Evelyn joins us now in studio.
Hey,
Good
Evelyn.
morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Where's Rupert? Is he a little nervous?
I think Rupert's at work, so unfortunately he couldn't make it today,
Fair
but
enough.
he sends his regards.
Okay, well, talk us through this because we were all watching with great anxiety on his behalf. How was it for you in that moment, seeing him stumble over himself in that way?
So I think what we saw was pretty true to form. I was really hoping for the best, just kind of get something from him at the time, but as you could see, I really wasn't getting much, so I was really worried at that moment.
So, did you know that all the other couples would be there? I mean, when you walk in, you'd be like, oh, look at all these people
Who are
here.
these
Does that
strangers at my
add to
wedding?
your anxiety? I mean, you seem quite cool about the whole thing.
I'm not going to lie, I did know that the other couples were going to be there, so it wasn't a big shock to me, but I felt like they helped with my nerves because they've all gone through the experiment
Okay.
themselves, so I found that quite helpful.
You don't feel so alone in this weird experiment standing at an altar with a stranger. You said that when you saw Rupert in his full anxious mode, you were a little bit worried. Have things changed? Has he relaxed into this a little bit?
I can say that he does come out of his shell,
Good.
and I think people need to remember that the wedding is a lot.
Right.
There's a lot of people there, and especially if you're not strong at public speaking, like, I don't blame him for being that nervous.
Oh, okay. So do you think that the spark sort of moves on with you and Rupert? Is he the sort of person that you would warm to and think, I'm growing into this man's awkwardness?
Yeah.
Because shout out to Rupert, there's a lot of awkward guys out there. I'm one of them.
And it's
I'm a
sweet.
sweaty guy, it
It
happens.
means that he's taking it seriously, right? That's a nice sign.
I think it shows his authenticity.
Yes.
There was no, facade. We were both vulnerable, and I think I appreciate that.
That's nice. That's nice. There was a little bit of an awkward one-on-one chat. You were trying really hard. Was that sort of adding to your nerves that you weren't getting much in return?
I knew it was going to be hard, but at the wedding day, I was like, holy crap, this is going to be really hard. Just give me something, say something to me. And I just wasn't getting anything, so I was very, very worried.
You asked him to do a pickup line, and he
Talk us
said
through that.
he said the espresso thing. How did that go for you?
I don't know why I asked him what his pickup line was.
I think it's a generic sort of like, hey, let's just break the ice.
Yeah, let's do some improv.
Yeah. Very yes and. Yeah.
And it did not land well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I mean, good on you for trying. You know, you were reaching, which was very generous, I think. You have entered the experiment later than the other contestants, as we know. Does it give you an advantage, do you think, to come in later on in the show?
I think it does, because you kind of get like an inside scope of how things are going to go. You get advice, and I felt very welcomed by the group, and yeah, I was happy.
But now, watching it last night and watching over the last few weeks, you then realised that what the experiment is. How have you been taking on board the sort of the toxic nature of what you've been seeing on TV before you guys entered?
I couldn't believe it, in all
Really?
honesty.
Neither could we.
Am I watching what everyone else is watching right now? And for me, it was the fact that the people in this experiment did not realise their own actions. Like, that blew my mind.
Yes, well, you are not alone, my friend. We have been scratching our heads every single morning.
Daily.
Yeah, full hardcore debriefs every day. We appreciate you coming on, and we have our fingers crossed for you and Rupert. Thanks
you.
for coming in today. And you can watch Married at First Sight tonight at 7:30 and catch up on every episode at 9 now.
Well, we've all heard of ghosting, haven't we, in the dating game? But now there's a new passive-aggressive, PASAG trend that is sweeping the country.
It's hard to keep up, isn't it? It's called fizzling. And singles, well, they're not happy about it.
Sounds delicious.
Relationship expert Melissa Ferrari has all the details. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning.
What is fizzling?
So fizzling is like the cousin of ghosting.
What's ghosting?
So ghosting is when someone just disappears, blocks you,
Boom.
you don't hear from them, you've been in a relationship and it's just blocked. Whereas fizzling is where someone does it quietly. So they might do things like not answer a text. They might just be making their exchanges with you a little bit shorter.
Start to do just like a thumbs up.
A thumbs up, that's right. There's no more love hearts, it's a thumbs up, things like that, where they just slowly withdraw.
Isn't that better than ghosting?
No, it sounds worse than
Is it?
ghosting. Yeah, because they're dragging you along a bit.
They are. I think with ghosting, at least you know what's going on. Whereas with this fizzling, people actually will keep themselves excited,
Right.
engaged. As you know, we all know how exciting a new relationship is, and so they kind of stay plugged in when the other person is unplugged, and that can.
Or they're
really-
keeping you plugged in because I like to have a few plugs open.
Well, that's right.
A
Exactly.
bit like a Sparky on a job. There's a couple of plugs everywhere. Double adapters over here, and I've got a power board over
That's
here.
right.
Plug.
That's right. They've got it going on everywhere.
Don't forget about the generator.
Oh.
You know? So here's another concept that we're hearing about, right? Like the waiting room, and this kind of speaks to what
Yeah.
we're talking about. Is this happening a lot because people are just keeping a few on the go?
Unfortunately, because of social media nowadays and the way dating is,
So the waiting room isn't going in and there's just a group of people there and you're like, yes, I choose you today.
no, that's something different, right?
right.
Yeah, no.
We're getting confused.
Okay.
That's Child Grilled Charlie's.
Oh, yeah. You come in with your number.
Number
you pull
14.
it off and it's like, oh, yeah, chicken chips, please. That's what that is.
All right, so back to the topic.
Yeah.
So waiting.
Who's running this show? That's Melissa.
So in the waiting room is when, someone does have a lot of people on the go. And so what they do is just keep enough of what we even call breadcrumbing. Just
What's
enough
that?
to
Sounds
keep
delicious.
you interested.
I love crumbing anything.
Just to keep you interested.
Crumb a relationship. That
And
sounds
so
delightful.
warning signs when you're dating a fizzler would be things like them not being curious to you, them being inconsistent in their behaviour, leaving you on the red sign when you've sent a message and not replying, doing things like they keep liking your posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
But they're actually not interested anymore, but they just keep doing enough to make you feel like they are.
Gosh, you're nuts.
Yeah.
So those kind of
How do I
things.
stop that from happening? How do I
How do you
avoid a fizzle?
avoid those people?
Well, I think you have to really listen for what they're like.
Can you just cut the fizzle off?
beginning. Well, you could cut the fizzle off, but
Sounds painful.
Sometimes you don't know you're being fizzled. That's the problem. Right? So observe on the first date. Listen for any inconsistencies. If this person sounds like that they do have a lot of people on the hop, and they will do things that will give you those indications, even though they're trying not to. You just have to listen really carefully. Be curious. Ask them who they are. Find out who you've got. If you are in the dating world, find out who you are actually getting mixed up with, because we need to know that early on, I think. And so stalk social media, do whatever you need to do to know.
Drive yourself crazy.
Figure them out within the legal
What if
limits.
a fizzler
within
is...
the legal limits,
What
exactly.
if a fizzler's just
who you're
unsure
dealing
and they
with.
want to come back from the fizzler
Can
and
you go
just
from
hit the
fizzle
soda
to
stream and
sizzle?
bubble up?
Well, they could want to bubble up, and that would be nice. But if they're going to start doing any of that old stuff again, it's really an indication that they're not interesting, or they're breadcrumbing, or they're seeing other people, or they have issues around closeness and intimacy. Could be more like it.
All right. Fizzle them out.
don't know
Fizzle out the fizzlers.
I mean, there was a lot going on there and I'm
There's a lot.
unsure of all of it.
Well, you didn't help.
I tried. Just was I was playing
No
along.
more fizzling.
No
you
more
can
fizzling.
come and run our show
You're the
anytime,
best.
Okay.
Melissa. You are the best.
There's a reason why we
love
keep
you.
asking you back. We just love it.
Thank you. See you soon.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and
What's my name again?
oh my goodness, Karl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Karl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
always happens.
What's she talking about?